Alright, finally got 6 billion score. Already registered this and... okay, just like always, I'm gonna share with you guys what I did here. Strategy-wise, tactics-wise, nothing has changed. So this video is gonna be a bit different. And this is probably the longest video that I will and have probably ever uploaded here in my channel. And that's because this is gonna be very in-depth on how I do the course and how I re-optimized my characters overall to be able to reach this, because I got stuck in around 5.8 or 5.9 billion for like a few hours today. As you can see, it's already been 8 hours since I started this, because I was creating a video on course. So that's why this is very long, because we're gonna start from scratch up until the last or the final product that helped me achieve this score. So if you are just looking for updates on my character, I will put the timestamp here and you guys can fast forward towards the end. But if you guys want to see how I re-optimized or assigned my course, you guys can go ahead and watch this long video, okay? So this will contain pretty much everything I did and also give you a lot of tips and insights on what you can do. This is gonna be the entire thought process, including the balance of the stats, how I assign the total power, who's gonna get the total power, who's gonna try to get the Maelin Fisher's weapon buff, who's gonna do what. So the time commitment here is gonna be long. And this is probably going to be my last video this season. By the way, thank you so much for all the support in the Netmarble Content Creator Program. And because we are already number 3 right now. Thank you so much again, guys, for all the support. Really appreciate it. And I do hope that my content are still helping you guys out. And I hope that this video will help you as well, because more than any, the rankings or the number of supporters, most important thing is whether or not my content actually made an impact to you guys, to the gaming experience of everyone, right? Because that's all gonna be pointless if it didn't help as much people as it can. And lastly, before I forget, since this season is already about to end, just in case you still need some codes, and we will have new codes upcoming soon, this will be my entry to that mission as well. Feel free to support me in the Netmarble Content Creator Program. I'm gonna send the codes every few hours, every day, okay? So once again, thank you so much to all our supporters, especially to our top supporters. Really appreciate all the support, and those of you guys who always engage us in our content. So part 1 of this video is gonna be the core setup from 0, and then second part of this video is the final adjustments, because what I did when I was setting up the course for the content was different from the end product, because I had to adjust, because I wasn't able to reach 6 billion. I really couldn't reach 6 billion with the previous setup that I am using, but that would still help because there's just gonna be minor adjustments. So if you got time, make sure to watch the entire thing. All right, let's go. Alright guys, so let's re-optimize my course here for the guild boss. I haven't got the chance to fix them yet after the recent runs on WOBL Baran. Yeah, let's go ahead and start. So the first thing that I would want to do here is to put all the best artifacts to my main hunters, or the main units, the main DPSs. So in my case, that would be Hae-in, that would be Mirei, that would be Gunhee, and probably Alicia. So what I usually do is to put all the attack, the highest stats. As you can see, she's now 27k attack, and I prioritize attack right now on my artifacts, and then I'll just readjust later using the course. So whatever I need and whatever I'm lacking, I'm gonna look for them in course, because that's much easier than rolling all the artifacts like crazy. So for example, I don't have enough crit rate right now, which is only 22%. This is something that we can very easily get from the course. Of course, that's not always the best option to do. If you have an end game core already, like for example, you get something like this, then you can start taking that into consideration before choosing what artifacts that you use. So in my case, whatever it is that is more difficult to change or adjust and not so flexible, that's where I'm starting. And by looking at this, of course, we know that we need more crit rate. My crit damage is at okay, even if we don't add from here, because once you hit that cap on the diminishing value, it's very hard to go up from there. And from my damage increase, we can still improve this a bit as well. So I don't know the numbers on this yet. Some people will do that for sure in the future, but to get the exact numbers and the exact balance here. But in my case, I personally just go for around 190% and 20% damage increase and 190% here, or even 180% if the unit that you're using is like already has high crit damage, like Ja, for example. But of course, it's not so bad to go from that, get some 1%, 3% damage increase overall. I think that's still a win, especially if you're min-maxing your damage. Defense penetration will add a bit of damage if you're not using the Ana Ruiz method plus Choi method. So that is fine too. So this is something that is also still not clear right now, because the math people are gonna do their thing here as well. I would believe so in the future. So I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. But during my test, I kind of did not see really huge difference if I add more penetration. So you always want to get the additional attack and not the attack percent. For Hae-in, her cores, she can use this, but I probably would not recommend this because her ult cooldown is number one, it's very long. She also has high crit damage already, and before she uses her ult, then she probably already used up her skills, and there might be a bit of a downtime on the skill cooldown before she can use the next skill after her ult. She can probably still hit within the 8 seconds, but I'm not sure if that's gonna be optimal. Attack percent, this also has diminishing return, I would assume, because it does not add to the artifacts stats here. It doesn't add there, so I would assume that's also a passive one, which in this case will be additive to all the attack percentage that you're gonna get from dimensional advancements, from your expert sets, from the other buffs, the passives inside once you go in, from mailing features. So the value is not gonna be that high, but at least it would be present every time you attack the enemy, whether it's ult, whether it's basic skill, whether it's normal attack, core attack, it's gonna be there. The only consideration here, I would say, if you're gonna go for attack, then it can only be used by attack units. And this one will be more flexible, like just in case in the future you want Gunhee to use it instead, or other units that might be implemented soon, HP based or defense based, then you can use it on them with their substats still intact. So when it comes to the substats, this is where it gets tricky. So what I do is whatever I lack, I'm gonna personally try to look for that substats in my course. So if you're wondering whether to use the purple version or the legendary version already, I would say let's just put it this way: there will be disposable cores or short-term cores that you're gonna use at the moment because you need them at the moment. It's gonna be crucial. It's gonna help you either improve your score, finish some game content. So that's fine because you can feed them to your end game cores in the future anyway once you're done using them. For example, this one I can feed, let's say I'm done using this core, I can feed it to them with a bit of a loss in the XP, which I think is still worth it as long as what you upgraded or leveled up is gonna impact your characters overall. So my recommendation is that you can go level 10 but don't enhance them yet, because this one is a very rare material, and the only time that I'm using them is when I got the end game core already. The one that I think that I would never change again, or the one that I think would have like the long-term value that it has. So again, there are like end game cores, there are disposable cores that you can use, and of course there's also one that is just potentially useful, but there's no guarantee. So the only reason that I have this additional attack plus defense penetration on the dark unit is because I can potentially use it on Charlotte or Harper when WOBL hard mode gets released. And I'm still not sure whether or not this is gonna impact my WOBL, but since I need the additional attack right now and I use it on Lee Bora, I leveled it up, but I will not enhance it yet. I just needed this because these are the only additional attack cores that I currently have, and again, I just want to remind you, well, there are prescribed or like preferred cores, but I prefer more flexibility when it comes to this because I always want to see progress every week, every day. So that's what I do. But if you're patient enough, then you can just wait for your best cores. And if it won't impact your gameplay anyway, there's no point leveling them up early. So I have here an additional attack plus crit rate, but it's fire element. And this is what I'm using on my Hae-in right now. And so this score has already been enhanced. And the reason I enhance it is because I'm pretty sure that my Suyun or my Gina will be using this in the future. Because I already do have artifacts that doesn't have any crit rate at all that I can put on them. It has penetration, it has attack, good amount of damage increase in the future. And so since I need attack and I need crit rate on Hae-in anyway, then this is what I'm gonna be using for now. And with this, we're now at 30k attack, and then we are now at 50%. So I still have a headgear that I can remove, but I think this one is already good enough. So with here, I'm still gonna need some damage increase. So that's the next thing that I'm gonna do. So I just want to let you guys know that in some units, the passive is not really that crucial. Although it would help, and although it would ideally be the one that you want, I don't believe that I'm gonna get all of those ideal cores anytime soon. So I'm just gonna keep on leveling up and enhancing those cores that I think would have long-term or potentially long-term value. So now for the body core, what I need would probably be damage increase. If you have lots of cores here, just go by element. And since we don't have one, oh my goodness, we don't have one yet. Our next option will be the critical hit damage. And here we have a light one, but this one right here is something for Gunhee because this is defense based. So I'm not gonna use it on Cha because otherwise my Gunhee will lose a core that has a high amount of defense. So what I'm gonna do right now is to look for a potentially useful core with damage increase. So what I did here instead is, again, I followed the same process. I got a core with already a high enough substats, then I leveled it up to level 10. So this is again a fire core that activates the shield. So I'm pretty sure again that I'm gonna use this in the future for my fire units. So it's okay to level them up. However, I have not enhanced this yet because this is something that's not gonna give, even if I max it out right now, it's not gonna give me a lot of improvements on my damage as compared to this, wherein I have two stats that would benefit my Hae-in. However, if you do it here, you're only gonna get benefit from the damage increase and not so much from the defense. So I don't recommend maxing them out or prioritizing them immediately before having enough to max out your attack cores, because this is where the damage is coming from. It's gonna come from Cha, it's gonna come from Mirei. And the only time you're gonna do that is for Gunhee, of course, because he is defense based and I can actually max this out soon. But I'm just prioritizing the attack units for now because they are the top DPS. So I need my Hae-in to be maxed, I need my Mirei to be maxed out. Then I will go for Gunhee to max out these defense. Because again, whenever I enhance them, level them up, I have two stats that are gonna benefit my character. So in this case, there's only one. It's already at a good amount, 2.9k, so I'm just gonna use this for now. So looking at my stats now, I already have some good amount here, damage increase and critical hit damage. So one thing that I want to check as well is the MP consumption reduction. So if you're having a hard time like controlling your MP with Hae-in, I would recommend just, well, I tried this and even with less than 1k MP reduction, I still don't lose as much mana, even if it's 700, something like that. I can still manage the MP because I manually cast my ult, and it cuts off the dancer, because the problem here with Hae-in's AI is that it's gonna finish all the dancer even if the ultimate is already up and ready to be casted. If you manually cast your ulti after 5 the dancers, I think that will be the ideal. But if you just want to deal more damage, I think it's okay to let her finish. But if you do that, then she's gonna run out of mana pretty quickly. So if you're having problems with that, you can, of course, just get a disposable core with MP consumption reduction, or a bit of MP recovery. But MP reduction is still currently what you want to prioritize, because the MP recovery is not gonna be for the skill spammers, because the recovery relies on attack and the core attack, so you wouldn't want to use them on units that has low MP regen. Each unit has a unique MP regen, and units that cannot perform a lot of normal attacks and cores. So in my case, I don't need that. I'll probably just want to go for either crit damage or damage increase. I would say I'll just get damage increase because Chai-in's critical hit damage is already too high. I don't have anything that's really good. I don't need this. Like I said, if you need something to help your MP recovery rate, then you can use this passive, or you can also use this passive, although I don't think it's gonna help that much. So here in this case, again, same concept. I have here something that will be potentially useful. It is an MP recover passive fire core, just staying at level 5. I might level this up soon if we need a bit more damage, but for now I would just leave it at this. So we're gonna use this. Her child now has a full fire passives. But her stats right now is crazy, right? It's 30k attack with full crit rate, crit damage 187%, and damage increase 21%. So this is enough to reach 2 billion damage on Hae-in. Now after adding your cores, you can actually also even adjust your artifacts afterwards and get something that you think might help you, but I don't think I can change anything anymore. I think most of these or all of these are already good enough. So now let's go ahead and check Mirei Amamiya. Her stats right now is, again, I just used my ideal artifacts on her, like the best ones that I could find in my account. We are now at 195% critical hit damage, and certainly I wouldn't want to add more to this. This is not my priority. My damage increase is a bit low, so I'm personally gonna find something damage increase related. We do have a bit of MP recovery rate increase, which is quite decent on Mirei, but you also want to have MP consumption reduction, a bit of it. But if you're using the core, this passive, I think it's gonna be enough if it's legendary. But if not, you can add more MP consumption reduction, around 1,000 to 1,500 on Mirei, to permanently activate her passives for the entire run, or just like there's gonna be a little downtime sometimes, but that's gonna help a lot to maintain your Kuroha's Darkness, which is gonna give you more damage on your skills. So we're gonna find out soon after I do my runs. But of course, as much as possible, we don't want to waste our stats on that, and just find the best option that we can do, the best mix here, because we might have different results. So what you want to do is to test it out yourselves. So just check your Mirei stats, run her one time in the guild boss, observe her MP consumption. If you still see that she's losing or going below 66%, add a bit more, test it again until the end. And if you still see her going below 66%, just go on until you see that she already has a stable mana regen. So I haven't tested this yet with 0 MP consumption reduction, honestly. But I feel like this one would help, and a bit of MP recovery rate that I already have would help as well. But if not, then I'm gonna add more MP consumption reduction. So let's go back to our mind cores. This one is the perfect one already. For the passives, this one is good for Mirei. Although, again, diminishing returns, probably. I haven't tested personally. I don't have time to test this anymore. I'll just assume that it is the case. So Mirei certainly is gonna benefit from this, because once she casts her ult, her basic skills are gonna be off cooldown. It's gonna reset. Then she's gonna be able to cast it and probably perform a few normal attacks and cast it again within that duration. So you can also use the attack percent passive. I think, well, let's just assume that it's also additive to the percentage. Mirei also has high amounts of attack percentage from here and from here, from her passive here, 40%. with the additional MP from her expert sets, from the buffs, etc., whatever dimensional advancements. So she's gonna have a lot of those as well. So there's also gonna be a diminishing returns on that. So its overall value in actual is also gonna be way less than like that 6%. It's not gonna be like a 6% final damage. Okay. In my case, I just use whatever I got first, because this one, of course, can be used again by other units. Let's say Mirei suddenly gets outdated, some character gets released in the future that will also benefit from this, then he or she can use that as well. But for now, this is the best option for Mirei Amamiya. And for here, again, we want damage increase. Let's just take a look at her stats. Now at 16%, I'm still pushing to go for at least 20%. And luckily, I already have the best one for her right now, which is this one. At least she will have shield, more survivability, and of course, you can activate always the shield, the guardian set, for example, so that it's guaranteed that she's gonna get this bonus, she's gonna get this bonus. Oh boy, the damage is gonna be really good. Add more damage increase. She's now at 20, close to 20%. Okay, so for the last one, ideally, I'm looking for the legendary version of this passive plus probably just damage increase. The other one is something that I don't think she needs, because she probably won't have problems with power gauge, because she gains power gauge, right? And if you have a high advancement weapon, then she's already like has her ult ready, and it regens every time she does normal attack. So I think there's not much point in using this. I think this one is the best one for her. Definitely, because she needs that MP regen whenever she casts her ultimate, and the cooldown is also within that duration. So I'm gonna use this on her, and then we're now at 20%, 195, 20%. That's really good. So the next thing that I want to do here is to run her one time and test if she will have an MP problem. So I still might adjust something else here depending on her MP performance, but for now I think we're good with this. And there's also probably more changes that we can do with some of these, because our crit rate is still like 6.6k right now, so we might be able to find some more artifact adjustments that could help her. So now let's go to Gunhee. I'm still using an 8-piece grid, and the only time that I'm probably gonna switch to Curse if I'm like I have a really superior one, or once I get Gunhee to 8 and 810. So same process, we're gonna go with, oh boy, the stats and crit damage and damage increase are already too high. Light damage here. So with this, I certainly would want more defense on Gunhee. His critical hit damage is already too high at 197%. Let's look at this. If I add defense score, I mean the crit damage score, he's gonna get like around 6 or so percent of critical hit damage. I think it's still gonna add some damage, maybe, but I think, let's just take a look. 188% already, even without core. So one thing that we can probably do here is to set it up in such a way that we can remove the boots. And the reason we might want to do that, I actually have a better boots here. This one. Let's just check this. And what we can do here, since his stats are already too high, the only thing that I feel I can adjust is if I get less of these, get better ones with defense rolls, or if I probably can change my boots to defense percent. I think that's gonna be the better option in terms of overall stats, because I'm gonna get 164% critical hit damage now, but that's without the cores. I already have a core here that he can use, which will push me to 179%, and which will push me further to 191%, which I believe is enough. But the value of crit on Gunhee is certainly probably much higher, because It's not like Hae-in with lots of critical hit damage stacked already. Well, he does have one actually, so I guess the benefit overall damage output is probably gonna be a lot less for these teams. So crit damage is, I think it's not a priority for them. For now, I'm just gonna go with this concept because this one has no boots. I'm already at 25.3k defense. I would say if I add a defense percent boots in the future, which I don't have, I wish I get one. Or maybe I can upgrade one just for testing. Oh, how much gold do I have? Like, I only have 145k gold. Oh boy. Yeah, I think let's just settle for this for now. 26k defense, 203k crit damage. He doesn't have MP problems, especially if you're using a Hansemi with V reset. And he doesn't need this as well in the guild boss. So I would say I'd still prioritize the overall stats more than this one. But I think this one is good. Might need them in the future. So we don't know what the future holds. So now for our mind core, I am not sure. Let's just check this. I also don't need the crit rate, and this one will not have any long-term value, I feel, because this is attack percent. I think, well, maybe they would add some features that would increase the base damage of, or the base attack of the hunters, but I don't think I'm gonna use this at all. The difference is gonna be huge in the current state or current stats of the game. So I think, but this one is something that I would need, I feel, so I can use it for now. Or maybe I can look for stats to get a bit more, squeeze in a bit more damage. So now for the final plan on Gunhee, I will probably just gonna go for defense percent here, and depending on the artifacts app stats, then I would just adjust to that accordingly. But for now, I think this should be fine, although it's too much, it's a bit too much honestly. But yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. I just need to add more defense soon. Now let's go to character number 4. I think this should be quicker. Right here, we got a good crit rate, crit damage, good damage increase. Actually, it's already good though. Let's check the MP reduction. I think this should be enough for now, or close to enough maybe. So we don't have anything that we can use actually. For the attack percent, I really would not want to mess with this. Like, the gap is just so huge. Although we can use a temporary one, probably. But the problem here, this passive is not something that we want on Alicia, because number 1, she doesn't spam her ult, and number 2, her basic skills is not the main source of damage. It's gonna be the core attack. So this one is pretty much more or less, it's gonna help with damage, but I don't think it's gonna help that much. So what we want is something with the attack percent, and we don't have that as well. So our next option, I would say, is to just get an additional attack. And I think she can still use this. I do have water here, but we don't need this actually. Well, actually, now that I think about it, is because this one is HP based, right? So it probably won't help us that much in terms of what we're gonna get from out of that shield. It's still gonna help, but not so much. And this one is reduced damage taken, but the cooldown is too long. So I think it's not gonna be like game changing anyway. And I already have this, so I'm just gonna use this. We don't have much choice. I don't want to upgrade more on the damage increase side here, because this is gonna be duplicate. I might because if we don't have choice, but since we have here this one, let's just use this. So now we have 190%. I really would want to stop here now and get some damage increase. So I'm not sure if we actually need the passives here if Alicia is having that MP like power gauge gain problem. So I'm not sure about that, but I do not want to increase my crit damage further on that. Let's just check what's gonna happen. 198, that's 8% crit damage we're gonna get from Min. We don't have grid set. I think that's fine though. Yeah, I think that should be fine, but 20% here and probably 12% passive from Min. I think crit damage is still pretty decent on Alicia, but I'm not so sure whether it's the right choice. Because the comparison will be if we get damage in... Maybe we can just do something like this. 16% if I add that. %198% critical hit damage. I want to add more damage increase, but I guess that's gonna be impractical in this case because I already have this and that Lee Bora can also use. Or maybe I just need to check. Let's check Lee Bora's stats first because it's gonna depend on what Lee Bora will have as well, because she doesn't need any more damage increase. So we might be able to get a better yield if we switch their gears. So let's just reconfirm. Let's just use this for now on Alicia. And then let's go ahead on to Lee Bora. When it comes to the passives, I would say I would just go for attack percent because Lee Bora's, I'm not sure if this will work on the Phantom Foxes. I don't think so. Because Lee Bora's damage are gonna come from that and not from like spamming basic skills. Okay. This is bad actually because we don't have any decent options that would not cost us too much resources here, because most of these are not something that we need. I do have a disposable one here, which was what I was using on Mirei last week, but I can actually just use this. That's gonna make her DPS suffer a lot. There's no sab stats and this is attack percent. Right guys, so this is what I decided to do. We kind of have a problem right now wherein we don't have much choice to use here. So I think the next best option to do here is either to just wait it out, or we can get a temporary core. This is temporary because this is attack percent, although it will start at level 1 though with 2.21%, but still what we can do is probably just accept our fate or maybe we can just recycle what we have, which is this one, use it here. 23237. I think I would just go for this. I'm gonna put this back onto Lee Bora, get some attack on her, and then what I would want to do on my Alicia, since I still have some extra orbs here or cores that I will not use anymore, then I can just go with a temporary core, this one, and just hope that it's gonna get a good amount of attack percent by feeding this. So I don't have gold. Hold on, let me just buy some gold from the growth support. 500. I think this should be enough. There we go. Okay, now going back, we're gonna readjust Alicia and then try to feed her this core. We're gonna lose a bit of XP. As you can see, it's only gonna go up to level 8, but we don't have choice because the damage is gonna suffer a lot. Let's just hope that it's gonna go, a lot of these are gonna go to attack percent, because if not, then it would suck. 15%, not so bad. So this is just a temporary core, by the way, because what we need here is the attack percent here as well as additional attack. But since we don't believe that we're gonna be able to get that anytime soon, then we'll do this. Okay. 20% attack, not so bad. We have 24.8. Our attack was a bit less, but we did manage to get a few more damage increase from that compared to what we were using earlier. And we will not upgrade this anymore, level this up and go beyond level 10 anymore. It's just 47%. It's not good, but at least we're gonna be able to use it. And overall, a win-win situation for us. And as soon as I'm done using this, if I get a better one, I'll just feed it to the next one. And then if that's the end game core that I'm looking for, I'm gonna enhance them. So I really don't want to get any more damage increase for now. Let's just check if we're gonna be able to find a decent critical hit damage that can be potentially useful in the future. And there's none. We don't have that. So in this case, we have one on Jinwoo, which is something that Jinwoo will probably use. Although crit damage is something that might not have like as much value on Jinwoo because of the plum sword, etc. But I think that's still fine. So we don't need the sub passives as well. So let's just go with this since we already have this. And then we are now at 190%. Probably damage increase will work for now because this is gonna help the power gauge as well. Although I don't think it's like something that's game changing because Lee Bora's ult has lower cooldown as well. Might help, but I'm not totally sure. But since we don't have any choice anyway, let's just go with this. So damage increase, attack is 24k, I think pretty good. Alicia is also pretty decent right now. Might be able to squeeze up a bit more. We should get more attack, honestly. Probably at around 26k attack or so. So I think this should be enough for now for them. And let's go to Choi, which is our next damage dealer. We already have a few things ready for him, although the problem is the sab stats is bad. But since he's not so much of a damage dealer anyway, I think anything that will add to stats will be decent. So let's just check it. Again, we don't have a flat attack anymore, additional attack, so this should be fine. Attack percent, something we need. Because he doesn't crit, we don't need the crit passives, but the substats here is crit damage, but we don't have anything else that we can use, I believe. Or we can... Let's just check. Yeah, we don't have choice. That's the only one we have. That's literally the only one we have. Even for the heroic version, there's nothing we can use there. So I think that should be fine. And then for the body core, this is crit rate. Obviously, we need this because this is damage increase. And let's take a look at his stats. 26k attack, damage increase is 16. Penetration is a bit high. We're just looking for damage increase. So what we're gonna do instead is again look for anything temporary that we can use. It's either this or this. But one consideration here, this one has the same thing, but the MP is kind of something that's not a problem really, or could potentially be a problem, or could potentially be useful when Isla gets implemented. But this is HP percent as well. Damage increase is 1k. Damage increase here is 773. So what I would do here, since Choi is not a game changer anyway, I'll just go with something that's gonna add more survivability. He's at 16.6k right now, and it's gonna be very difficult for him to survive. He could potentially die from some of the attacks of the boss. Lee Bora is at 19.7k, so I wouldn't be too much worried about it. So HP is 29. So if we use this 16.6k, because these two are the top two units that are always gonna die, 15.5k. So I'll just go with this, and if ever I need more HP, I'll probably just get something else with higher, which we don't have as well. Since we don't have anything else left to use, it's okay to upgrade this, because we might need this with Ayla, and we will need this for Harper as well. So I think that should be fine. And if the survivability is still a problem, we can push more level here to get a bit more HP. So now let's go to our last remaining units. Let's start with Maylin Fisher. So for Maylin Fisher, we're gonna have to do the same process here, but let's just do that real quick. We have good stats. Let's just use this one just to get a bit more damage and critical hit damage. So I think this should be fine now for Maylin Fisher. So overall stats, she can deal quite decent damage there. And now for Hansemi, if you're using V Reset, you can support your Hansemi with some MP recovery here or MP consumption reduction. For Hansemi, it's okay to get MP recovery because she's not a skill spammer. She's gonna have a lot of downtime trying to regen her MP. But MP reduction is also a good option. Just get whatever you need and do the same testing as you do with Mirei. Do one run, check if Hansemi is having or struggling with MP, then switch up your gears. But in my case, with this setup, I already have this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do instead is that I'm gonna sacrifice some MP recovery so that we can get more damage out of her. We did some final adjustments there. Probably can support her with additional MP reduction because we lost a bit of recovery there. We are at 4.6k right now. We probably don't need the crit rate from here anymore and just get something else, but we don't have choice at all, so I think that should be fine. And here we just need to get more damage increase plus the skill damage. So this one is okay, but she's not gonna use her ult a lot anyway, so let's just try to get squeeze in a bit more damage. I would say any element is fine, just anything that could add a bit more. And I think there's nothing else that we can do about it anymore, so let's just take that for now, and then we're gonna get more stuff for her soon. So we got now 50% crit rate. Crit damage is a bit low damage increase, but I think it's fine. She will definitely be better once we improve some of these, but I don't think we should do that right now because not the priority. There, 176% crit damage, so I think this should be fine for now. And for our Min Byung-gu, I won't over optimize on Min Byung-gu for now because I don't have the final gears for him currently. So, and now finally, let's go to Jinwoo. Jinwoo will also deal quite a bit of damage, even if it's just a support build. Maybe we can add a bit more damage increase or crit damage or defense penetration, or let's just support his mana just so we can guarantee, because I don't have resources to spare on him right now. Let's just go with attack percent because that's more future proof on Jinwoo. This one is good because we always use our ult so that we won't have to stress ourselves doing a lot of normal attack. So in the future, Once I finish my hunters, I want to save my resources now for my hunters. But once I finish my hunters, I'll probably improve Jinwoo as well. Okay? So, alright, so it's done. Let's check them out one by one. Alright guys, so this is the final product of everything we did so far, and I made some wrong assumptions actually, which I'm gonna explain now. So before I got the 6 billion score, I had to run for like 2 hours or 3 hours, and I really couldn't reach even 5.950 or 5.9 billion, and I'm gonna tell you why. And I made some adjustments, so this is very important. This is the most important part actually. So if you just jumped here, you might not have some context on what we have talked about earlier in the video. But if you're just curious about the gears, again, the stats, etc., then feel free to watch this video. All right, so I'm gonna update you one by one again on each of them. So Song Jin-woo, the final stats here. Let's just make this quick for these blessing set. Okay, bear with me. I'm gonna show every stats here just so you guys would have like a basis or whatever. There you go. There you go. No investment yet on Song Jin-woo. For Team A, we have Maylin Fisher, final stats. There you go. Skills, artifacts. Let's just skip these artifacts. Then CORES. No investment as well. And we have here Gunhee. Here's the stats of Gunhee. Had to A5 his weapon as well. Defense 26k, crit damage, and damage increase 24.8. So if you're wondering why is your stats like that, some of you might react like you have too much stats on damage increase or crit damage. Watch the video for the explanation. So this is not yet the final build that I am aiming for. I need to change a lot of things like a defense boots. That's my plan. Okay, so here's the skills. Course. And for my Hae-in, this is where the first major adjustment happened, guys. So here's the new stats of Hae-in. Lower attack, slightly lower crit damage, I think, or damage increase as well. And then the light damage here. Skill levels, 10, 10, 10. Artifacts. There we go. And then CORES. So what was the adjustment that I did? I switched my carry actually and switched my attack gears or my better artifacts to Mirei Amamiya. And I'm honestly not sure why. I can only assume and hypothesize on what happened, because the approach I was aiming for the run where I got 6 billion was to pass Maylin Fisher's weapon onto Mirei, but still didn't happen. Only happened a few times, and my Mirei Amamiya is now 29.3k attack, and here's her stats. There you go. MP lower. For Mirei Amamiya, guys, the MP here is gonna help, but not the most important thing. Okay, so don't stress yourselves too much about MP getting 2.5k. I transferred my best artifacts onto my Mirei Amamiya. So firstly, I can only think of a few explanations here. I still control the total power. Total power should still go to Hae-in because the bonus of Min's ult is very high. The bonus of Angel in White is also good. But these things like the Angel in White was confirmed to be additive with the skill damage bonus. So it's gonna be diminished on Hae-in most likely. And the Maylin Fisher, which almost has the same description, and the reason why I was doing that is because I was trying to transfer the benefit of Maylin Fisher's weapon onto Mirei Amamiya, because I feel like I have stacked way too much multipliers already on Hae-in, and the overall yield was kind of low. So that's just my hypothesis. I have no way of knowing, and that was the reason. But I failed on that. But still, overall, all my runs after switching this was so much better. Maybe Mirei is a better carry. I don't know. And also, another possible explanation is why this one performed better which is I think the more likely reason, is that because she already has better cores, maxed out here compared to Hae-in, which has a crit rate still and the attack is missing a bit. I will probably transfer everything back to Hae-in once I get the cores here, because I really do believe that it's more likely the reason. I'm not totally sure about that. The mistake on the assumption we did while we were doing the courses is that Hae-in was the main carry and pulling everything onto Hae-in, but apparently maybe the course really made a huge difference, because she can benefit from this. She has a maxed core wherein Hae-in has temporary cores, no attack percent here. Attack here is max, missing 1k attack. So those are just some of the possible reasons. But anyway, let me just show you Mirei and Mamiya's stats here, artifacts. There you go. And then course. So the way I did this, so you might be wondering, so how did you control the total power here of the two? So that means ult will still be going to Hae-in. Well, I do have a level 55 expert set with attack percent here and attack here, which gives a high amount of attack, but slightly lower than what Hae-in is using, which is level 75. That's how I did it. So you guys can do it as well. Maybe switch off some items with lower total power, but will not affect the overall attack that much. So you guys can sacrifice just a tiny bit to be able to do that still. Alright, so that's gonna be it for Mirei and Mamiya. Let's go check out Choi Jong-in here. Stats, damage increase, good attack, good defense penetration, and fire damage there. Skills, and then our setup, really good rolls there, and then our course here. There you go. And then for Hansemi, still using the same setup here, getting some MP consumption reduction and recovery to sustain the V reset, although you can do that now with the course if you have one. There you go, not having any MP problems anymore. Min Byung-gu, not much investment yet. This is the last one that I'm gonna fix, because he doesn't deal as much damage like Maylin Fisher and Hansemi. Okay, there you go, all temporary items. And for Lee Bora, 24.7k attack here with 205% critical hit damage and damage increase 15.22. Skill levels here, level 10 on Phantom Foxes. And here's what we're using. And then for the course, here, and here. So this is one of the adjustments that I also made, because this was originally the one that I was using, but apparently there was a problem here. I had to switch it, and the reason is my Alicia, if I use this power gauge here, she uses ult too early. The timing on the ult is way off. It did more harm than good in my case, in my routine. So I'm not sure for others, maybe it could help, maybe it will not help, I'm not sure. But in my case, it really did it really did worse. Okay, sometimes she just stopped while the boss was running away, and then she had to run to catch up. So I had to switch it so that we won't get that. So this might be a wrong investment. So I'll probably change this to the MP regen. And then here, other course, there you go. This is temporary again, attack percent, temporary core that we did earlier. Here's the stats, damage increase, critical hit damage, and then there you go. I probably should advance her now, right? But I don't have gold anymore. Like, I only have 27k gold right now. So I would advance her probably later, and just to see how much damage I could actually get, because there's no point anymore. The game contents right now are like have been have been made easy already for the most part, especially WOPL. Alright, so that's gonna be it for this video. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Again, last call on the codes. If you still need the codes, we have 5 codes here, Essence Stones, and the upcoming one, which is the weapon design. Don't forget to support me in the SLA Content Creator Program. And yeah, thank you so much again for watching, and see you on the next one.